Daniel, out on Max, documentary feature about Daniel Northcott, compiled from his own footage by his sister Erin, tells the story of Daniel, who was a filmmaker from a very young age, always capturing the world around him and the people around him as he went on his various journeys. He was an outgoing, curious, open man who traveled something like 42 different countries, when suddenly at the age of 29 he was diagnosed with leukemia, at which point the film moves into documenting his fight against the illness. So it's certainly an incredibly personal film, personal project for Erin to have completed what was supposed to be her brother's life work. And whenever I encounter one of these movies that are personally important for the people making them, personal projects, I tend to ask myself one question first. Is it also a competent film outside of being a good personal project? Is it compelling in some way to the general audience as much as it was to the filmmaker? And in the case of Daniel, I have to say not entirely. The first half certainly is. It feels like an affirmation of life and a journey into the mindset of someone who's a citizen of the world, as silly as that expression may sound. But as it goes into the latter half, the leukemia part, I think it inadvertently goes against its own message, because, as I said, it's a film that proclaims itself quite directly to be a celebration of Daniel's life, a wonderful memento of all he lived through, rather than a record of his crushing illness. And yet it does feel rather hopeless and sad as it delves into exactly that. At one point we see Daniel saying, "Don't you dare pity me or feel bad for me because I've lived so much." Well, I would really have loved to see more of that life, to see more of his journeys, meet the people he met, see the countries he saw and voyages and all the things that he's done. As it is, it's mainly just shown as very short montages without going too deep into these things. And I think it's a shame, because the film is also only 72 minutes long. It really wouldn't hurt to include more of the truly life-affirming parts, which I am convinced did exist in the raw footage. So yeah, I recognize why Erin may have finished the movie this way, and I respect that as a personal thing she did for herself and for her family and for Daniel himself. But I do think it does his story a little bit of a disservice, and it could have been something far more uplifting and fascinating than it actually is. So to answer my original question, I don't think it's quite as compelling as it could have been, and for general audiences it will probably remain a curiosity at best.